beating Lee, followed up by beating the league leaders Catalan. Are those just about the best two results you've had all season?
Yeah, they are, mate. Sorry, just quickly, Willem, I just want to thank Furkan and Alex from Connection, mate, who have re-signed another 2 years as our jersey sponsor. So, really thankful for their support, and the club are really thankful. So, just wanted to make note of those guys and the company. But, mate, certainly it's to win those. Those two games are really pleasing off the back of, obviously the cup and then going to St Helens. So, this time of the year is all about building momentum, and we've won 2 games. Hopefully now we can start building some more going into the back end of the year.
Well, you talked about coming right at the right time of the season, coming good at the right time of the season, and it certainly looks as though the players have got that in them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it always helps when you've got a healthy squad. There's no doubt there's periods throughout any team in the season where you have your fair share of injuries, and we certainly have had ours. We've got a couple of issues this week, but overall, we've got majority of our squad together, which again builds cohesion. It builds sort of headaches in terms of team selection, but that's where you want to be. You want to be, finding it hard to pick a team and picking players because they deserve to be in, or having players that are not in the team that deserve to be in as well. So it's a good position to be in, but certainly, mate, we've got 3 games left, and we've won 2 games in a row. But if we want to put the feet up now, we'll be in for a rude shock against Huddersfield.
You will, because it's no time to put your take your foot off the gas, purely and simply because it's not job done, is it?
Certainly not. No, we've got 3 games as all to play for. Obviously Salford, Leeds, Huddersfield. There's some teams there that can still fight and play in that 5th and 6th spot. We don't look too far ahead. I know it's cliche, but we are taking it each week. And it starts this week against Huddersfield on Friday night.
Tough place to go, tough team to play, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I remember playing there many moons ago, and it's a nice stadium. It's a good ground to play at. But obviously they don't fill the stadium. They've got some passionate fans, but I remember, there could be 4 or 5, but they're loud. But it's always, it is. It's always it's a difficult place to go play. But the way we look at it, or we try and look at it, is we're in control of how we approach that. It was something that we spoke about at the start of the year. Our away record hasn't been great, so for us we need to change that, and we need to go there and put in a good performance. I suppose to get more belief playing away from home, because we have in terms of results wise, not so much performances, but results wise, haven't always got the results that we wanted away.
Certainly a ground where you've got to create your own momentum, because I know you'll take some fans there, but as you say, it's a big stadium with lots of echoes reverberating around certain parts of the empty stands. So creating your own atmosphere, creating your own momentum, and getting that right is big, isn't it? It's going to be very, very big.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, no disrespect, but if there's only 4,000 or 5,000 there, whatever the crowd is, or whether you're playing in front of 30 or 40,000, it shouldn't matter how you approach a game or how you play. And certainly our fans are loud wherever they go, and I'm sure Huddersfield, as I said, I've played there before, they are loud and they're passionate. So it's still going to be, an exciting opportunity for the players to play in front of a vocal crowd, but we certainly need to go there with a mindset to build a game, because we're playing against a team that's going to be, I suppose, desperate, because they still can make the semis. Although it's difficult, but they still mathematically can. So they'll be up for it.
In terms of Huddersfield, I for one, am hugely surprised when you look at the sum of the parts of the team that they've got. They haven't gone better this season. Are you on that same page as I am?
Oh, there's no doubt that they've got a very talented team. They've got some good players in that team. They've got a good coach there, Ian Watson. But again, we spoke before around having cohesion and having your best available players playing, and they've had their fair share of injuries too. So, they've had their two halfbacks that got injured previously and now injured again. From what I understand, one of them may be back this week. So, anytime you don't have that cohesion and connection in your spine, it can hurt your season. We experienced that when we had our spine out. There was Rowan Milnes. We had obviously Cootie was out at the time and Jordan. So then we put in guys like Jez Litton who's capable, but it's not their natural position. And Huddersfield have done similar this year. So you need to play with who you got and manage and do your best. But certainly they had some tough periods. But we're not taking those guys lightly. They're a very good team, especially when they put it together. They've got some experience there. They've got some talent there. So we need to go there with the right frame of mind.
You can put them to bed, can't you? You can make it mathematically impossible for them to get near the playoffs, and in so doing, enhance your own chances. And having beaten sides first and fourth in the league table in the last 2 weeks, you must go there with supreme confidence, Willie.
Oh, look, we every game you play, and certainly when you beat teams like Catalans, and obviously we beat Lee after, losing 3 times against them, losing the cup against them. But you build some confidence and you build some belief. There's no doubt about that. But again, we need to earn the right again. We need to build it, and certainly if we do that, we're very confident in what we can do. But as I say, if we're going to go there with a frame of mind to not play tough, not play physical, not play with an energy that's needed this time of the season, then we'll be in for a difficult evening. So, but that's not the option that we're looking at. We're looking at the option to go there and approach this team, who's a very good team, in the right way and give them the respect they deserve.
Well, I've been saying it all season. They're going to click sooner or later, but save for a 3-game spell, they haven't. So, is it very much more of the same that's got you past those two sides in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, certainly. We know our game, and we talk about our identity and who we are. So we're aware of who we are as a team. But naturally, you change little subtleties on opposition teams. So, we've looked at Huddersfield and identified where we can work, target. Where their strengths are going to come from and what they'll be looking to do to us. But that may change this week. So, for us, what we can control is who we are and how we play and how we approach it. So we always worry about that first, and then in terms of game plans, we have a look and see if they're still there, the opportunities that we've seen. If they're not, then we go to plan B, which we've always got as well. But one thing that never changes is our approach and who we are. As I said, our identity of who Hull KR is, we're fully aware of that.
You love that expression, Willie, of who we are, but give us a bit of an insight as to what that means.
Oh, look, I suppose for us, it's if someone's going to Huddersfield this week and they've never watched a game before, and they looked at Hull KR and they said, gee, they're a connected team, gee, they work hard for each other, and they're full of effort. That's who we want to be, So it's not going to be, and I think to have someone that is a bit naive to the game, that go there and watch a game and that stands out, that's who we're looking to be. And that's when we review, that's the main thing that we look at each week. So that's who we are, who we want to be, and as I say, that's what we do our review around. A lot of our reviews around sort of those 3 areas. An
identity, I suppose, isn't it?
That's it. Exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. I mean, that's it's like in individual. If you know who you are as a person, and you know what makes you tick. You know what you don't like in life. You certainly have a happier life. So we look at that with our football team or rugby team as well.
Let's turn to your selection conundrums. No Elliot Minchella this week. How disappointing is that?
Yeah, he's been one of our best, if not our best, all season. So he, big energy player for us. He's really owning that role. He's going to be a big loss. We've also got James Batchelor that's having a minor surgery, to his elbow, so he won't play this week. Hopeful that's only a 1 week injury, possibly back the week after. So he's out this weekend, and Jesse Sue, we're hoping was going to be back. He hasn't got to where he needs to be at this stage. So yeah, we've got a few out, but we've also got a lot to choose from as well.
Just a clean out with Batchelor.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. There's just a little bone that needs moving or taken out there, so it'll just be a minor clean out.
And Jesse Sue, you say it's a disappointment that he's not coming back, but is it a setback or is it just a little bit slower than perhaps you thought?
Yeah, he couldn't get to 100%. Naturally, if he was going to be eligible for selection this week, he needs to meet some certain targets and protocols, and he didn't meet those. So we just need to see how he settles down, and then our physio team, our medical team will have a look at him again and just see where he's at, whether he's back for next week or whether he needs another week.
Now then, the big question is he or isn't he? Is Jordan Abdul going to be back in your squad?
He'll be back in the 21, yes.
Well, that's a big boost, but also a headache. So you've got a good and a bad there, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. But they're the headaches you want this time of the year. They're the headaches coaches or head coaches and staff need to have or want to have. Our spine's certainly doing a great job. So, again, Jordan needs to meet certain protocols and standards to get past, getting the approval to play. He trained today, so that's the first step.
Talk about those protocols with, particularly in the last couple of games, Schneider and Lewis playing as well as they have in combination, and Jack Walker coming onto his straps a bit. There's no hurry up about it, is there?
No, certainly not. I mean, the spine that we've had the last 2 weeks has done the job. There's no doubt, if Jordan at the start of the year was one of the better players in the competition, and a fit Jordan Abdul's, it's exciting for the game to have him playing. He hasn't played a lot the last couple of seasons. The key now for Jordan is to get his body right, to get himself back on the field and put some games together. He's frustrated. There's no doubt about that. They're all frustrated when they don't play. This is what they do. This is what they love doing, and they get paid to do. So it's important now for Jordan to manage his body right, get himself in the best possible shape, and try and put some games together. At the end of the day, if he's not ready to go, he won't play. But he's certainly got 3 players here at the moment that are doing the job, and we're happy with the way they're going as well.
Yeah. One question I wanted to ask you is, if he is ready to go, can you find a place for him on the bench without tinkering with what's been going well?
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility of that. We'll have to look at all options and just have a look at the best combinations, but certainly that's an option.
Because getting game time in his legs is very, very important, and you are running out of matches to do it before the business end starts. That's if you get there, fingers crossed. So I would have thought, from a coaching staff's perspective, that would be very important, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. Like you said, we're no guarantees of getting in the 6. So for us, this week's important, next week's important. So, we need to pick a 17 that we believe will do the job. But like you say, if we do go into the finals, we need to have our best 17 available, whoever that may be, ready to go, fit and ready to go. So, there's no doubt Jordan would need to play some game time to play finals if we got there. So, as I say, we'll have a look at him this week and just see where he's at the back end of the week, and then make a call to see whether he does fit in the team this week or he doesn't.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because I suspect that perhaps it's a bit of a bonus. I mean, I know you never said that he was gone for the season, but you must have had fears that he was.
Yeah, definitely. I think initially it could have been season, and then he didn't have the surgery, so that helped him in terms of his recovery time. So, he's doing everything he can now, and he just needs to keep working hard. He needs to get as fit as he possibly can and get his body right. And I'm talking bigger picture as well, not just the next 5 or 6 weeks or the back end of the season. It's more around what he does in the break and then how he comes back in pre-season, because it's an important stage in Jordan's career. I don't want him to be a player, and he doesn't want to be a player that's got all this ability but hasn't been able to put a few strong seasons together, because we know what he's like and capable of when he plays. Sometimes you can't help injury. It's just unlucky football injuries or rugby injuries. Some you can, because you need to get yourself in the best possible shape and do your extras, do your rehab, do stretching, do your all the recovery that you need to do after training and leading in the game. So if he does that, then we're going to have an exciting sort of few years ahead when he's with us.
I remember speaking to you when he first did this injury for the second time, and you said maybe we will send him for some specialist rehabilitation if we don't go down the surgery route. Has that happened?
No, it hasn't. Our medical team at this stage, they're working with him and have got him back. So they've done a great job. It was more so one of those if the option's there at the back end of the year, if it's something that needed to either speed him up or whether it was good for the long term, that's always an option. But we haven't looked at that option at the moment because, as I say, our medical team doing a really good job with him at the moment, and as I say, we need to get him back on the field, putting some consecutive games together. That's the key for him.
Good luck then. Thanks very much, Willie.
Cheers, Gwillem. Thanks, mate.
Willie, how you doing?
Matt, how you doing, mate?
Not bad. Just one more on Jordan Abdul. He has in the past, earlier in his career, played loose forward. Your loose forward is obviously over HIA. Is that a possibility? Is that in your thinking, or is that obviously playing in the middle comes with some more physical demands? Is that maybe too early for Jordan at this point?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we need to look at all options with him. It's one of those where the 13s these days and the way we play is definitely a link person. So I think Jordan could do that job. We just need to have a look and see if he's ready for that role. As I say, we haven't sort of finalised our team as yet, but it's certainly an option.
Have you got a reserves game this week? Is that, and if you did, would that be something that you could maybe do just to get minutes under the belt?
Yeah, we've got options around that, but we don't have one this week, so that's the issue there. So what he's been doing, he's been training. He's been training hard. He's been doing the work, but there's nothing like playing a game. So he needs to play. There's no doubt about that. We just need to work out whether that's this weekend. As I say, he needs to get through captain's run, and then go through all the testing that he needs to do to say, yep, he's okay to go, or no, he's not. And then we've got some plans around what we're thinking about doing. Or option B.
Just on James Batchelor, I know at this time of year there are a lot of players with bumps and bruises and walking wounded. Was this a case of it just got too problematic for him? He had to get it done now rather than try and hold off.
Yeah, no, it's one that needed to be done because he had pain and then the pain went away, but he couldn't straighten his elbow. So yeah, it was one of those that he couldn't. He had to go in now. So it was a new injury, and he needed. He's got other issues which he's holding off to the end of the year. So Batch is one that if he needs to go in, he needs to go in. So yeah, we're hopeful that'll be this week, and then it'll only be 1 week.
Mm-hmm. Just on the running now, there's everyone's looking at the permutations and if this happens and that happens, this happens and this happens. Is it difficult as a coach not to look at that? I'm sure you tell your players to focus in-house, but as a coach, are you looking at it all and thinking, oh, this and that, or do you try and have that clear?
Aside from reading your article, I had to look at yours, mate. I'll be honest. It's I did. I saw your article, but for us, I mean, and this is not saying anything to get carried away, but at all. But we're in a position, if we go and win games, we'll be okay. We go and we've got 3 games to go. We're not chasing teams as such, so it's pretty much for us. If we go win this weekend, we put ourselves in a better position against Salford. So it's not as if we're going, well, we need to win that, but then we need that to happen and we need that to happen. Or the only way you look at that is if we start losing games. So for us, it's our narrow focus is Friday against Huddersfield because we're in control of that. And then hopefully, mate, we're not in a position that we have to look at relying on other teams to get beaten.
I assume you go in with the mentality as well. If you start worrying about what everyone else is doing, it sort of distracts from you being at the level of performance you need to be to ultimately do what you want to do at the end of the year in the first place.
Yeah, definitely, mate. We've won't go too much into it, but basically our purpose is based around the back end of the year is based around what we do internally. So that's we're going to get our motivation internally, not externally. So it's about us. It really is about us, and we're in control. And the reason is you're in control of that. So we're in control of what we do on Friday or how we approach the game. We're in control of what we did today at training, and we're in control of our recovery tomorrow and our approach to our captain's run. So that's what we've tried to do is just narrow it down to areas that we can control and what our purpose is for the back end of the year. Again, it's narrowed down to what we can control. Unless you're in a position to worry about other teams winning or losing, then we can, I suppose, worry about that then.
Just finally for me, I just wanted to ask you about something that probably don't get a lot of headline. But Lewis Senior, he's played a few games on the bounce now, and he's came up with some pretty big plays on Friday night. The offload when he went out and touch, so on and so forth. Just on his development, how do you think he's coming along as a player this season? Yeah,
really happy with his development. I think you can see him growing each week that he plays. There was a couple of times there throughout the year. We put him back to the reserves. For little areas that he needed to fix up. The one thing with Lewis Senior is he takes it on board and he's out there every day practicing or working on areas that he needs to. Obviously we want him to focus on all the areas that he's good at and strong at, which he's a big body. He's got a good carry on him. He's fast. But there's some areas there that he needed to work on, and he has, and that's why he's in the position that he's in. He's had some setbacks. He wasn't in the cup team. It was unlucky not to be in certain lineups this year, but he's taken it on board, taken it the right way, worked hard, and now he finds himself in the team at the back end of the year. So, he's just got to keep doing that and keep working hard. But I think it's something where a lot of other players can look at. The way he's responded, and I've mentioned before, like Elliot Minchella, the way he responded to some early setbacks. That's the only way as a player to be able to get back in the team is work hard, work on what the coaches are saying that you need to work on, or as a player, what you believe you need to work on, but then also focus on all the areas you're doing right. And that's what he does. He's narrowing his game down to, or simplifying it to a couple of key areas he wants to be strong in, and then we'll look at his game afterwards and just work on some simple areas that he needs to work on to get better at as well.
Brilliant. Cheers, Willie.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate.
Hi, Willie. It's Gary, all right?
Gary, good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just a couple from me. As a coach, are Huddersfield one of the more difficult sides to scout because you're not quite sure which version will turn up on the day?
Look, I'll be honest. I've got a lot of respect for Huddersfield. I think, they're a dangerous team. There's no doubt about that. I think Willem was saying it before, like he's waiting for them to click. There's no doubt that, they've put a few together of late. I know last week they didn't. They went through, it was a different time for both teams. But, as I say, I've got a lot of respect for the team, their coach, and what they're capable of. So, yeah, they've got good players. That's the reality. They're a decent team. Well, when I say decent, they're a good team. But they're just not... in the 6 or in the 4 that everyone had them at the start of the year, but there's no doubt they break down their season. There's genuine sort of reasons there. So yeah, I've got respect for the team, and I know that what they're capable of, that's for sure.
And there's an outsider looking in, and there's someone who knows a thing or two about the NRL. When you watch Will Price, do you see why he's decided to go down there and why he was wanted down there?
Yeah, I like Will Price as a player. I think, you know, on both sides, the NRL and in the Super League, it's very rare to get athletes like that. They stand out. And when I watched him this year, I rang one of the guys that got him over there, and I said, "Yeah, I can see why you've got him. He's an athlete. You know, he's very, very good on his feet. He's fast, but he's only a kid. You know, what they'll do over in Newcastle is they'll develop him and get him ready to play NRL level. He's a good player, and he's going to be a good player. So hopefully we see him back in the Super League, and there's no doubt we'll see him back at his best."
So you believe he has what it takes to make it down there?
Look, I don't know the kid personally. I'm not sure what he's like outside of the game, his commitment to the game. Certainly, if he wants to make sacrifice and work hard and do everything he needs to do, there's a talented player there. So, as I say, I don't know him as an individual to say 100% he'll make it, but I certainly know he's definitely capable in terms of his athletic ability and what he brings. There's not a lot of players like that have just got that athletic ability. You know, beat you with both feet, electric pace off the mark, and you know the older he gets, the more games he plays. You know, he'll be more aggressive and with his actions, but certainly a talent, that's for sure.
Well, cheers, Willie. I'll pass you over. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Hi, Willie. How are you doing?
Hey, James. Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you. I know you're talking about permutations there. You win this week, you win next week, you're guaranteed to be in the six. That must be an exciting prospect, given it's what you set out to do when you started pre-season all the way back in October last year. Yeah,
I mean, everyone's goal is obviously to play finals. And I'd be lying if I ever didn't say that that's what we want to do and what we're trying to achieve. So, you know, I know again I'm not going to go too far ahead, mate, because we need to play well Friday. We need to get 2 points on Friday. So I don't want to think about a couple of weeks down the track. Like you know, it's there. There's no doubt. You know, we're in a position to go. You know, if we can put a couple together, you find yourself in the finals. But you know, we've had some internal discussions around, as I said before, our purpose for the back end of the year and what that looks like. Excuse me. And pretty much the focus is around Friday.
Is it about holding your nerve as much as anything else at this time of the year and the position you're in?
Again, I know I've said it a lot of times, but it's about being us. Like it's about us going out Friday, and we had some good conversations after the game in the sheds, led by our senior players. And it is based around that. It really is based around that. It's based around, you know, if we go on Friday and we approach the game like we have been, and we know what works for us in games, if we stick to that, then we'll be fine. If we try and change anything and think about outcomes, then that's when we'll find ourselves not in a good place.
Yeah, you touched on your recent away record last week. Is that something that's been spoken about as well, and a real motivation to improve that going in? Because you probably, if you do get through to the playoffs, you will have to play on the road, won't you, probably?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's been touched. We've touched on it. We haven't honed in. It's nothing major. We certainly need to have a look at, you know, when we do our review at the end of the year. Just look at our away record. You know, and then narrow focus. Okay, was it trips? Was it when we stayed over? Was it day trips? What could we have done better there? So we'll do that review at the back end of the year. But yeah, Huddersfield, I think it's about an hour and a half. So it's not one of the longer trips. So that shouldn't affect your performance at all.
Good stuff. Thank you, Willie.
Cheers, James. Thanks, mate.